Fire, what Jungwon said about Jimin's song.
You don't wanna lose those wings.
Hook, Midnight.
Angel, don't fly so close to me.
Music, faded, on screen, flashing,
I want you on the wall. Beautiful things.
I give it all to your pain.
People like me break.
Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, buckle up.
And all day.
Today we are diving into one of the most talked about K-pop moments that is
I love to ease your pain. I would do that all day.
losing their minds on social media. So here's the thing. When an Hypen's leader Jungwon speaks, the internet listens. This guy is known for being calm, genuine, and incredibly well-spoken. He doesn't know how to compliment unless he truly means it. So when words from Jungwon about BTS and Jimin and his music started spreading across X, TikTok, and fan forums, fans from both fandoms absolutely freaked out. Today we are going to break down the context, the reaction, the connection between these two artists, and why this moment matters so much in the bigger picture of K-pop right now. Because I promised this story Hyperboard, setting the scene. Who are these two? Recent debut footage. First, let's quickly set the scene for anyone who might be new to K-pop. Because understanding who one and Jimin as artists is everything when it comes to understanding why this moment can be so hard. Part Jimin. If you've been anywhere near the K-pop space in the last decade, you already know this name. As a core member of BTS, arguably the biggest boy group in the history of music, Jimin has spent over 10 years proving himself as one of the most versatile and emotionally resonant performers in the industry. But it's not just his work with BTS that defines him. His solo journey has been nothing short of legendary. In 2023, his debut solo album Face made history, with its lead single, Like Crazy, becoming the first ever song by a Korean solo artist to debut at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Not a K-pop record, not an Asian record, a world record. Full stop. Then in July 2024, while Jimin was actively serving his mandatory military services, Music dropped his second solo album, Muse. And this album, it was a whole different beast, featuring tracks like Smeraldo Garden Marching Band, Slow Dance, Be Mine, Cool, and the deeply emotional Closer Than This. Muse showcased a more mature, artistically free Jimin, a Jimin who had clearly been doing a lot of thinking, feeling, and creating, even while serving his country. The results were insane. It became the longest charting song by a Korean artist on the Billboard Hot 100, 33 full weeks on the chart, tied with finesse-wise iconic Gangnam Style. Muse debuted at #1 on the Billboard World Album chart and held that position for 6 consecutive weeks, making it the longest #1 album by a Korean solo artist on that chart. And by March 2025, she has achieved something unprecedented, a Billboard Triple Crown, simultaneously topping the Artist 100, the Billboard 200, and the Hot 100. All of this while he was still in the military. Let that sink in. B-roll and Hypen performances also. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, the 21-year old Hypen, one of the most critically acclaimed fourth-generation K-pop boy groups. Jungwon rose to the this trial show island, and Hypen and from day one, people noticed something special about him. This quiet, thoughtful maturity that you don't usually see in someone that young. Jungwon isn't just a performer, he's a student of music, a genuine one. From his early days on Island, he openly discussed studying the performances and stage presence of senior idols to improve himself. He talked about watching BTS videos on TV, breaking down expressions, breaking down stage energy, breaking down what makes a performer magnetic. This is a guy who takes artistry seriously, and it shows. Jin will be the first to tell you that Jungwon's growth from 2020 to now is one of the most remarkable things to witness in a long time. So when he's yeah, people are going to react. Clapperboard, Part 2, the deep connection between BTS and BTS. Before we get to the moment where everyone freaking out, we need to talk about just how deep the connection between Hypen and BTS is. very beginning. Hypen debuted through Island, a survival show produced by HYB, the same company that is home to BTS. So from the start, these artists existed within the same creative ecosystem. And BTS didn't just ignore their labor mates. RM, BTS's lead, actually gifted Jungwon 2 cactus plants during the filming of Island. Jungwon, being the sentimental soul that he is, mainly took great care of them. That little detail tells you everything about how much he treasures even the smallest connection to the sun. But let's go deeper. In his official Weber's magazine profile and interview, Jungwon was asked directly about his role model. BTS's Jungkook. He said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that he admired Jungkook because he was good at everything, and that he studied Jungkook's onstage expressions and energy very carefully. He mentioned watching specific performances, Boy with Love for those relaxed, effortless expressions, and On for that powerful, intense stage presence. This isn't a casual fan moment. This is one he's studying another person. And it doesn't stop there. According to Jimin's Wikipedia page, which cites multiple verified sources, Jimin has been cited as an influence by 9 J
저희는 지금까지 방탄소년단이었습니다. 자, 나중에 또 올게요. 둘, 셋, 감사합니다.
as someone who shaped their artistic career. Jimin's work
감사합니다.
the hip-hop community widely calls him the idol of idols and given the list of artists who have been there is already this deep current of respect and admiration at the Mama Awards. This was a monumental, emotional, career-defining moment. Started the fan train. Because of the music impact and the clips went Part 3. The moment that has okay, this is the part and why
You don't wanna lose those wings.
in junior music has
So close to me, I want you, wanna want you. Beautiful things.
I give it all up to ease your pain, I would do that.
conversation that emerged in K-pop.
Lose those wings, people like me break.
In December 2020. A direct message to the fans. He
All up to ease your pain, I would do that all day.
Jimin writing the lyrics, revisiting places and memories. It's one of those songs that makes people
You don't wanna lose those wings.
But because of the sheer honesty of it, when Jimin sings this song, you believe every single word. That's the power he has as a performer. Fan reaction compilations, Twitter flash threads. When clips and
Angel, don't fly so close to me.
personal Jimin music began
So close to me. And what you want, I want you need.
felt understanding of what Jimin's artistry represents.
Beautiful things.
I give it all up to ego pain.
And the reason is pretty simple.
Lose those wings. People like me wait.
Not perfection, but just because one talented human being is moved by another talented human being's work, that is pure.
All up to ego pain. I would do that all day.
Sometimes feel Tommy and Jin were filling each other's time with thoughts and appreciation. Someone and it went viral with the crossover with an album. The K-pop internet, which sometimes feels like a battlefield, suddenly became a moment that reminds all of us Part 4. Why Jimin's music soft, instrumental, emotional tone. Let's take a minute to really understand why Jimin's music resonates so deeply. Not just with fans, but with fellow artists like Jungwon and Jimin. Here's the thing about Park Jimin. His artistry is not about showing off. It's about surrendering. When Jimin performs, whether it's a high-octane dance sequence or a whisper-quiet ballad, there is a quality of total emotional openness that very few artists in any genre achieve. He doesn't hold back. He gives everything, every time. And audiences, fans and fellow idols alike, feel that. His album
You don't wanna lose those wings.
while he was serving in the military.
Angel, don't fly so close.
The album's concept was about finding inspiration.
Close to me. And what you want, I want you. Beautiful things.
I give it all
Lose
up to
those
ego
wings.
pain.
People like me wait.
You just felt like Jimin saying, I've looked in,
And all day.
I've done the hard work. Now I want to create something that celebrates connection.
All up to ego
Songs
pain.
like
I would do that all day.
on gentle, intimate production that feels like a private moment shared between two people. Be Mine carries this yearning vulnerability. And then there's the lead single that became a global phenomenon. With its powerful, emotional delivery and striking visuals. Who is Jimin asking the most honest question a performer can ask? Who am I? It's about identity through the lens of love, and it resonated with millions of people around the world. For artists like Jungwon, who is himself deeply invested in growing as a complete performer and artist, Jimin's body of work is like a masterclass. Because what Jimin demonstrates, album after album and song after song, is that the most powerful thing an artist can do is simply be honest. No mask, no performance art, just the truth of who you are, channeled through music. And when Jungwon, who is building his own artistic identity, navigating what it means to lead a group and is charting his own history-making path, when he recognizes and speaks to that quality in Jimin's work, it hits different, because it's one artist seeing another artist for exactly who they are. Properly, Part 5, the bigger picture, a new generation honoring its roots, 1830 to 2230. Music shift, uplifting, forward-looking tone. Now, let's zoom out for a second, because I think this moment is about more than just three artists from different groups sharing a beautiful connection. This moment is part of a bigger, incredibly meaningful story unfolding in hip-hop right now. 2025 has been historic. BTS completed their military service. Jimin and Jungkook were discharged on June 11, 2024. Joining Jam returned in October 2024. Jimin came back in June 2025. RM and V who were discharged on June 10, 2025. Suga completed his service on June 21st, 2025. For the first time since their 2022 hiatus, all 7 members of BTS are free to create together. The Erarang era, BTS has long awaited comeback
You don't wanna lose those wings.
with a world tour spanning 30
Angel, don't fly so close.
off in April 2026. The
so close to me. I'm what you want, I won't wait. Beautiful things,
I give it all
so
up, ease your
sweet.
pain.
People like me wait.
They showed the world that Korean
And all day.
music top charts, fill stadiums, win Grammys consideration,
All up to ease your pain, I would do that all day.
culture, and the generation that came after, including Jungwon, grew up watching it. So when Jungwon stands on stage as the leader of the only fourth generation, and when he then turns around and speaks sincerely about how Jimin's music has moved him, he is participating in a living tradition of K-pop artistry. He is one young artist paying tribute to another, saying, "I see your work. I respect it. It has shaped me." And in doing so, he connects two generations of K-pop in a beautiful, real, human way. ARMY sees it, Jin sees it, and frankly, any K-pop fan with an open heart sees it too. Jimin, for his part, has returned from the military as a more complete version of himself. He topped the brand reputation rankings for individual boy group members for 35 consecutive months and 50 months overall, a record that speaks to how deeply fans are connected to him. His solo exhibit The Truth Untold in New York, showcasing his face and Muse albums, sold out all 29 sessions before it even opened. He received the Hallyu Special Award at the 34th Seoul Music Awards. His song, who won K-pop Song of the Year at the 2025 iHeartRadio Music Awards, The King is Back, and the next generation, including Jungwon and ENHYPEN, are watching, learning, and carrying the torch forward. Clapperboard, Part 6, Fan Reactions, and What This All Means, 22:30, 26:30. Let's talk about the fan reactions for a moment. Because honestly, the way both ARMY and Jin responded to this is one of the most wholesome things I've seen on Twitter. On X, a trending hashtag that gathered hundreds of thousands of posts within hours. Users from both fandoms were tagging each other with messages like, "This is why I love K-pop," and "Our boys are each other's biggest fans, and I am not a fan." There were fan-made videos comparing Jungwon's stage presence to Jimin's, pointing out the parallels in how
You don't wanna lose those wings.
that sense of quiet intensity,
Angel, don't fly so close.
they make every single person in the audience feel
So close to me. I'm what you want, I won't wait. Beautiful things,
I give it all up,
so
ease your pain.
sweet. People like me wait.
Seeing Jungwon, the leader of one of the
And all day.
most successful groups, speak with such sincerity about Jimin's music.
All up to ease your pain, I would do that all day.
That's proof that what Jimin does is not just commercial. It's artistic. It matters. Jin, meanwhile, responded with their characteristic pride and Jungkook's emotional intelligence. This is a family that has watched their leader navigate some incredibly complex moments, controversies, industry pressures, the pressure of winning K-pop's most prestigious awards with grace and wisdom. Seeing him speak lovingly about music that moved him, without any calculation or PR motive, is deeply in keeping with who Jungwon is, and Jin loves him for that. The crossover content that emerged was genuinely beautiful. Fan edits pairing Jimin's vocals from Closer to This with footage of Jungwon performing. Compilation videos of every ENHYPEN reaction at award shows where Jimin's music was featured. Even some amazing fan art imagining the two of them sharing a quiet conversation about music, about performing, about what it means to give everything you have to an art form. Because at the end of the day, that's what both of these artists represent. Total devotion to the craft. Real, human emotion poured into every note, every movement, every word. Clapperboard and OUTRO wrap up and call to action, 26:30 end. Outro music, warm, upbeat. So there you have it, guys. The full story behind why Jungwon's words about Jimin's music have sent both ARMY and Jin into a complete spiral of feelings. And honestly, I think we're all a little. What makes K-pop special? What makes it more than just music or anything? It's these moments of deep connection. An artist from the next generation is a trailblazer. Your music reached me. I see. That is the heartbeat of this entire culture. And moments like this want to remind us that behind all the charts, the records, the streaming numbers, and the award shows, there are real artists who love music deeply, who are moved by each other's work, who carry
You don't wanna lose those
Jimin
dreams.
built something with music, and with his entire
Angel, don't fly so close,
anyone expected. And Jungwon is building something
close to me. And what you want, I won't wait. Beautiful things.
I give it all up to ease your pain.
even briefly, even through the language of appreciation and shared artistry, is genuinely special. If you're new to Jimin's music, go listen to Closer Than This and Who right now. Just trust me on this one. And if you've never explored in hyphen, check out Jungwon's solos and hyphen discography. You will not regret it. Drop a comment below. Are you Armin, Inch, or both? What do you think about this moment between Jungwon and Jimin? And what song from either artist would you recommend to someone just getting into their music? If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It genuinely helps this channel more than ever. And hit that notification bell so you never miss when we post. We cover all things K-pop with deep dives, reaction breakdowns, and stories like this one that remind you why you fell in love with this music in the first place. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves and stream Closer Than This tonight. Musical note Purple Heart. Outro card. Subscribe animation. Script word count 3000 word counts. Jungwon, Jimin, hyphen, BTS, Muse, Closer Than This, Armin, Inji, K-pop, 4th January live reaction, Autumn 2025, Jimin solo.